You have seen his movies and you have probably laughed so hard that it hurt, but most of you may not be familiar with his name. The director that I chose for my personal presentation is Paul Feig. Paul has been directing for less than 10 years, and he already has some big name box office hits. His most popular movies are The Heat, Bridesmaids, and Unaccompanied Minors. Paul's roots in the entertainment industry trace back to more than 25 years, most of which time he was an actor. For example, he acted in Dirty Dancing, Knocked Up, and Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story. The television shows that he made appearances in were Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Drew Carey Show, and Love and War. The common theme that runs throughout the films that Paul Feig has directed is humor. The humor is non-stop and scatological. Scatological humor is an off-color type of humor. It deals a lot with defecation, urination, and flatulence. A lot of, dirty stuff. Anything with the human body. Warning: the following clips may be uncomfortable for some viewers. An example of Paul Feig's work is the food poisoning scene in Bridesmaids, where the women get food poisoning from a restaurant they ate at earlier in the day. As the women were trying on dresses at a famous wedding dress shop, they all begin to experience uncontrollable vomiting and diarrhea. Another example of Paul Feig's gross-out humor took place in The Heat, where Officer Mullins, played by Melissa McCarthy, rummaged through Captain Wood's office, played by Thomas Wilson, looking for his testicles.
Let me know, they're about this big, but a lot tinier. They're like a pea, or like a ball bearing, or like if you've ever seen a mouse ball, about half that size. Incredibly tiny. They're like really, really tiny little girl balls. If little girls had balls. So if you find little tiny girl balls that are so fucking tiny and shriveled up, let me know, because I'll put them right back up his scrotum.
Now let's talk about mise-en-scene. The best way to describe Paul's use of mise-en-scene is to keep it real. He uses this method so the audience can relate to his characters in his film. Very little makeup and costumes are used in his films. He'd rather have his characters dressed down and have little to no makeup so his audience can easily relate to them. Last but definitely not least, Paul Feig is all about the women. He enjoys empowering women by putting them in male-dominated roles. If you enjoy watching strong female actresses shamelessly embarrassing themselves, then you will enjoy Paul Feig's movies. Before you go, I want to let everyone know that Paul Feig has a new comedy coming out in May of 2015 called The Spy, starring Melissa McCarthy. You can expect more of the same humor from Mr. Feig.